Trafficking over the border was for who? Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those are going?
We're here, Dirty Money album release party, last train to Paris. It's crazy. I decided to switch scenes, got too hectic down there. I'm up here in a hot tub, doing it official, you know what I'm saying? My Trey's up here, Fab's up here. You know, when you have a scene like this, you gotta bring bosses with you. As you see, it's female friendly. We got a ladies and female. She's butt ball. That's what I call it, raw dog. I'm not jumping the tub myself. You know, once everybody gets out, you know, just me and the lady. This is my scene. I'm used to this type of thing. You know, doing what I do best. Oh!
Allie Carter just came out swinging about what she saw at Diddy's Ibiza freak-off parties. And the details got the streets quiet. She's describing the rooms, energy, and the young individuals who were treated like party favors. Now, if you've been following this situation from the very beginning, then you already understand that Allie Carter did not suddenly appear once the headlines got loud. She had been speaking long before the raids, RICO case, and sentence. At a time when most people were dismissing the whispers as conspiracy talk, she was online describing what she said was happening inside elite spaces that the public never gets to see. Back then, many people wrote her off as someone looking for attention, assuming she was chasing clout by attaching herself to powerful names. Now, the timeline feels different because parts of what she described years ago appear to echo details that only recently became public. And right now, Allie is locking in hard on what she claims she saw at Diddy's Ibiza freak-off parties. This is not the soft version. She is talking about the rooms, the energy, the people not of age who were treated like party favors, and the physical consequences that walked out of those spaces with some of the biggest names in the game.
I was a party favor.
What does that mean?
I was a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table.
So you're telling me they set
I set on a
table, like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them,
Yep.
and they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties, they put on the table instead of gift bags, and then people can do what?
Take you off the table and have with you, even though it's against the rules. Trafficking over the border was for who? Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those are going?
Word is the damage was not just emotional. Allie has been clear that she left those environments carrying something physical, an STD that she says came from the same circles. And once she started naming the energy around those private sessions, the streets started connecting every lawsuit that later dropped about herpes and other infections tied to men who move through Diddy's world, whose house gets raided and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil get recovered with no protection kits in sight. That reckless energy is exactly what Allie keeps pointing back to. She says the parties on Ibiza were not regular industry celebrations. They were controlled spaces where young individuals got moved around like inventory, and the people running the rooms did not care what walked out with them. First name that keeps coming up in her accounts is Usher. Allie has hinted that some of the infected energy she saw connected to people who lived under Diddy's roof early on. Usher stayed with Diddy as a teenager under the banner of mentorship. Years later, he called that time curious, said he saw things he did not fully understand, and made it clear he would never put his own kids in the same situation. Then, the lawsuits started hitting him with claims about transmitting herpes. He denied them, but the overlap with Allie's story has folks replaying every old interview. The streets keep asking if a young artist is living in that house and later talks about seeing things that still bother him. What exactly was happening in those rooms when the cameras were off?
And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In
to
the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Next name circling the block is Denzel Washington. Ali stated she saw him at one of these gatherings. Denzel's public image has always been the disciplined family man, and older rumors already floated that he once walked out of a Diddy party after seeing something he did not like. There is no evidence tying him to any misconduct, but Ali putting his name in the same breath as those Ibiza sessions has the conversation loud. People are asking what a man with that kind of reputation would even be doing in rooms where young individuals were allegedly treated like party favors.
And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left?
And beanie, socks, and a gold chain.
So you're telling me Denzel Washington was naked, he had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold in front of...
Yep.
Funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou.
Yeah, so a lot of them do.
Then there's Steve Harvey. His name entered the mix because of the visible association with Diddy over the years, the vacations, public events, photos that keep resurfacing. Ali has not accused him of anything direct, but she has made it clear that anyone moving that close to the circle had to know the energy was off. The streets are not letting that go quiet. When powerful men stay silent while young individuals get moved through those spaces, the silence itself becomes part of the story.
We're not talking about the victims that are still going through the right now with other people who are running to cover their and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running?
Well, Smith's name floats in the same conversations. Past photos and rumors tying him to industry gatherings connected to Diddy keep getting pulled back up. He has denied any misconduct, but proximity is enough for Ali's claims to keep his name in the debate. She keeps describing the same pattern. Wealthy, connected men in the rooms, young individuals treated like props, and nobody saying a word while the private sessions rolled on.
I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all that meetings.
Naomi Campbell sits in the middle of the overlap that keeps coming up. Documented ties to Epstein, past closeness to Diddy, the rumored romantic connection in the early 2000s, and the way she wiped the association once the legal heat got real.
The paper does manage to make it clear that you were not aware of Epstein activities. Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else.
Ali has pointed at that same overlapping network, modeling opportunities, private trips, exclusive invites that look glamorous until you hear what the rooms actually look like. When Ali talks about Ibiza parties, she describes controlled environments where the same elite faces kept showing up and the young individuals never had a real way out. The way Ali describes those freak-off parties is what keeps people locked in. She says they were not loud, chaotic clubs. They were isolated, calculated spaces, substances moving, enhancers flowing, cameras sometimes rolling, and people not of age being used as the entertainment. She maintained she was not there by choice. According to her, certain placements that were supposed to protect her instead funneled young individuals into these elite environments under the banner of opportunity. She was not of legal age, confused, and surrounded by adults whose money and influence made accountability feel impossible. That is the part that hits different now that the Ibiza tapes are sitting in government custody.
I'm a choreographer and I love even though I can't have. So if you have met me in this time, I thank you for spending the time that you have with me. Because now that you see all this stuff on Twitter, and now that you see all this stuff on social media, you've met the real me. You've spent time with the real me. You know that I would do anything to keep it safe. You know that I would do anything to have some peace.
Midway through her accounts, she starts naming faces that make the whole thing heavier. Ali claims she saw Diddy's own mother, Janice Combs, moving through those same wild gatherings, not as a distant observer, but present in the orbit. Then she talks about the IV drips. She says she and Diddy both received them after some of those long sessions, the kind of recovery setup that only makes sense if the nights stretched into days and the bodies needed chemical help to keep going. She also puts Cassie in the same rooms, not as a distant story, but as someone she saw navigating the same pressure, the same controlled energy, private sessions that later became court documents. When Ali connects those dots, the streets start asking how many people who later filed lawsuits or stayed silent were in the exact same spaces she is describing.
Mom's gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Katrina, good morning to you. I understand you were inside the courtroom during Ventura's testimony. The transcripts are just horrific. How did she hold up?
Errol, she broke down on the stand yesterday as she was testifying, and that was one of the most striking moments of the day, when she was moved to tears as she was giving, as you said, this very graphic and pornographic testimony. The moment when she broke down was as she was talking about how angry he would get with her sometimes, but also when she was asked about whether or not she enjoyed these, they were called freak-offs, this encounters that she engaged in with him.
And she said that after that first freak off, she said she felt dirty. She didn't want to do it.
Like it's a strange dynamic to have Cassie be as visually like stunning and sexy as she is, and then you know, a part of you is like, I really want to go in and do this, but then the other part of you is like, this mother in the corner over here dictating how to do this and how to do that is like really like pulling me in the opposite direction. So you take that and then you add another guy to the mix, and it just gets real strange, man, especially once he becomes like active and you fall off and you just sitting there watching like, yo, like it's just weird, bro. I don't know how else to explain that, man. It is weird.
And the cost of speaking has not been light. Ali has said more than once that she felt unsafe after she started naming names. Then her home got destroyed. Periods where she disappeared from social media, came back looking emotionally overwhelmed, changed how openly she spoke. The streets and conspiracy-minded viewers started talking about abduction energy, about her becoming a target once she refused to stay quiet. There is no verified proof of any physical taking, but the pattern of fear, threats, and sudden silence is the same one Orlando and other former young entertainers have described for years. Ali keeps saying she is not only speaking for herself, she is speaking for other young individuals who are still in similar environments and do not have the platform or the courage to talk.
Is Ali Carter being silenced?
I'm sure she is. I hope it's not my fault. I made an outcry to her that I'm willing to talk to her.
I was at a Diddy party. I was one of the party favors.
Oh, what's going on, baby? Talk to me, baby.
How you been, man?
Oh, we're back.
Our house is gone. This is the price. This is the price of speaking out. What was our beautiful 3-bedroom acre home on 21225 Standing Rock Avenue, because everybody has the address, because organizations that were attached to Marx, Sawyer, and many other organizations decided to put out the address, my license plate to one of my cars, and many other of my shit. So here you go. You can have it, right? Because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens.
In the online community, trust them been loud, as one user puts it. Her eyes speak darker horrors than her mouth. Another online user said, I love how her mom speaks the truth for her every time Alu becomes overwhelmed. Yet another goes, Ali is a very smart girl who has used the little resources she had to build herself. This user puts it, protect this woman in Jaguar Wright at all costs. They keep telling the truth. So what do you believe Ali really saw in those rooms? Which of these names were just close enough to feel the heat? If even a portion of her story lines up with the lawsuits and the federal raids, how many more powerful faces are still protected by redactions and reputation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you rock with real talk, hit that like, smash subscribe, and jump into the next video on your screen.